Hello, everyone, and welcome to another developer message. My name is Alex, and today we are going to be talking about a decent amount of things for the game Let's Live. So, some of you may know that as of September 11th, Let's Live is now 4 months into its development. And today, I'm going to talk about where the game is compared to where I expected it to be, along with what I expect for the upcoming future months. Then after that, I'll be answering some questions you've been asking both on Twitter and Discord because I wanted the community to kind of focus around this developer message. I wanted to answer the questions that you guys had and, just get those out of the way and resolved for you guys. So with that being said, let's just kind of get into what my expectations were for Let's Live compared to the reality. So when I first started looking into making the game back in May, I thought it would have taken me a decent amount of time to start shaping it. I thought, I'm going to have to spend at least a month working on shaping the characters alone without having textures on them. I figured I was going to be spending a lot of time making a lot of models. I thought that, there is going to be other roadblocks, such as financial roadblocks, trying to get materials, trying to get all of these things as a sole person. Looking into it and then getting into using Unreal Engine, though, I saw that it was very user-friendly and made the beginning process of not only making a map, but also importing files for models that have been made or models that are available for commercial use on websites that you either purchase or are free and available for you to use. It was very easy to do those things. And so that shortened the initial development process, which allowed me to immediately go into making the map and moving forward from there. My expectations for the future is that hopefully I can get a lot of these other things that I haven't been able to touch, such as coding, multiplayer servers, and things like that. I can spend more time on those items because making the map, placing all of the props, and doing all of that stuff is very simple. Those are the few things that I have to do still within the development for the map and the models. I would say that if I had to give a percentage, I am somewhere between 80% and 90% finished with not only the amount of models that I would like to have and props for the world, but for the whole map in its entirety. There's only a few minor points of interest that I still need to make and rough shape, and then the rest of it is just me really polishing it off in terms of appearance, giving all of the homes furniture and placing, nice grunge work everywhere and putting in sidewalks and fences and stuff like that. That is like the final 10% of the development for the map in my personal opinion. So moving forward and for the future, there's going to be a lot of coding going on, a lot of polishing of user interfaces, and a lot of the time that I thought I was going to have to spend on a lot of basic things, a lot of, monotonous creation stuff, will now get to be put directly into some of the more difficult things like getting the coding to work right, making sure that all of the animations on the characters work properly, making sure that the weapons do the appropriate damage, make sure that the bullets fire in the appropriate way, making sure that characters aren't going to fall through certain places or mesh through certain objects. These are all going to be more important in terms of making sure that the game plays well. And I'm very happy to know that I kind of got to compress most of the monotonous and the long-winded creation stuff. So with that being said, that's pretty much my ideas and dreams of what's been happening. The game's development has been going way better than I had initially expected, and moving forward, I hope that continues. I can definitely say that your support and your guys' drive and excitement and just, I mean, full support in the game has definitely driven me to continue doing this over and over and over again. I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody wants to develop a game for nobody. So I got to thank you guys again for that. Obviously, with this 4-month mile marker being hit, I'd like to see where we are at 8 months. And maybe at 8 months, we can start talking about dates. Certain dates, such as maybe alpha dates, things of that nature. Maybe we'll do like a small community support system where if people want to try and support the game financially, maybe we'll do something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what needs to be done, and we're going to take this one day at a time. So with all of that being said, we'll just have to see what happens in the next 4 months in terms of what happens with coding and user interface and everything. But I have very good hopes for the next 4 months for all of that stuff. Moving now into the community segment, I want to open up to both the Discord and the Twitter page, just to a few things that have been constantly brought up. I'm just going to answer them again because I know that these are commonly asked questions that may have been answered in previous development videos, things that may just get lost in transmission. I know that there's a lot for a lot of people to cover within this game, so I'm just going to do the best that I can to kind of go through and answer as many of these questions as I can. So a lot of these questions come from a supporter over on Discord by the username Rezel, or RezL. So I'm going to answer as many of these questions first, and then we'll go into other questions that other people have, and then we will conclude this development message. So Rezel's first question is how can the community help you or contribute in any way to the development of Let's Live? Currently, the development is going really smoothly, as this video is stating. We're ahead of schedule, in my personal opinion, compared to what I thought I would be at. And the best thing that the community can do right now is to just keep the excitement going and keep trying to grow the community. Do the best that you can to find other people that would enjoy something like this and let them know about it. I mean, even if it's talking to your friends, talking to other people, while you're gaming, or, talking to other people while you're watching streams or something. The big thing is just trying to reach out to new people, spread the name of Let's Live, and let other people know about it. Next question is in what aspects is Let's Live similar to Just Survive? And pretty much, like I've said before many times, Let's Live is to have the same mechanical play style and feel as Just Survive. The feels are the primary thing here, and I want base building, looting, and PvP to be just like JS. Everything else on the map, like location names, weapon names, map layout, all of that stuff will be different for legal purposes. So in terms of the game's appearance, it will not be similar in terms of like the characters will look the exact same. The sounds of the guns will be the exact same. The namings of the cities will be the exact same. None of that will be available because of legal purposes. The game needs to be its standalone. It cannot be mistaken for Just Survive or be mistaken that the models or the characters or the sounds were taken from the actual game. So I will not be using any of those, and I will be using things as close to the representation as I can get. But the mechanical play style, how you shoot, how you run, how you loot, how you die, how you respawn, all of these things are going to be very similar in the mechanics. How you go to raid somebody's base, how you actually build your base, your ability to party up with friends and create a team. These are all things that I want to have the same mechanical and play style feel. The next question was, how many hours do you usually spend a week on developing the game? Currently, I spend about 3 hours each morning, Monday through Friday, working on the development of Let's Live. with the exception of Wednesdays. Wednesdays are generally my days off. Sometimes I pick up hours, so that's not always the case, but I generally do work more hours on Wednesdays because I will do the 2-hour development stream, which has become a weekly thing recently. And I also do, maybe another 4 or 5 hours beforehand or afterwards, just doing some more monotonous things that I know wouldn't be entertaining to do on stream. So all in all, I would have to say I roughly do anywhere between 15 to 20 hours a week on top of whatever I do on my Saturdays and Sundays in between running errands and doing my personal stuff. Next question was, do you develop the game only by yourself, or is there anyone who helps you with it? Currently, I'm the only person developing the game. I'm the only person working on the actual raw files. I'm the only person manipulating models and doing actual coding and things of that nature. Recently, my fiance, who goes by the name of Lucid Rose on Twitter, is in the process of helping me do a lot of the social managing via Twitter, via the YouTube channel. She's helping both respond to questions as well as try and engage in community involvement, because the big thing that I feel is that if I don't communicate with the community and if I don't engage with the community isn't going to engage back. So with the game continuously growing and doing better, my fiance has stated that she would like to help in a bigger sense. So she's going to be helping with doing some more of the social managing and doing a lot of that stuff. Moving out of those questions from Rez L, I do have a question still on Discord from Celine, who asks, if launch for PC goes well, do you think you'll try to port it over to consoles or keep it strictly on the PC platform? I think that's a really good question. I honestly would love to see this go across many platforms, but that's going to be like Celine asks, and it's going to depend on if the game goes well at launch. For the time being, I'm just going to focus on worrying about it being on PC, making sure everything goes well on PC, and if things do go really well, I would love to see how hard or difficult it may be for me to move it over to consoles, mobile, maybe even the Switch. We'll see. But we'll see and take that day by day. Going back to some Rezel questions, they wanted to know, will the game be able to run on mid-range PCs? Do you think you'll have a hard time trying to optimize the game, or is the engine good enough to not even worry about it? To be honest, Unreal Engine gives you a lot of options to change texture varieties from high to low, depending on what you need. A lot of games try and make everything like 1080p or 4K quality, and that is just not the case for Let's Live. There's going to be good quality stuff, obviously. It's going to look more semi-realistic, but things like grass texture or smaller items or, things of that nature, that's just not going to be high textured quality stuff. So in terms of it running on mid-range, there should not be a problem with that, because I personally am not trying to make this a 4K AAA rated game. This is going to be a really decently put together and assembled game by, at the current time, one person. And so this is asked by a lot of people. A few people have asked this, so I'll just cover this by Rezel, who is asking, is the game going to have a base building system? If so, could you tell us in details how would it look like? In terms of detail, just pay attention to how the Just Survive base building was. I plan there to be some type of foundation or decking system, and then within that system is going to be a grid. Now, I currently have the coding and the blueprints for a base building system in place, but it's based off of the blueprinting and base building system for Rust. So what I have to do, and I know that you guys are like, no Rust base building. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be just like you want it to be, but now I have to take it and manipulate it and tweak it, along with implementing the right models that I'm currently working on to make it work the way Just Survive had it. And so this is another one of those things I was talking about from the beginning part of this message, which is there was a developer that made a base building asset, and it's set up kind of like the Rust base building. Now all I have to do is I have to change the coding and manipulate the coding to do semi-different things in terms of what it places, what models it's accepting, and all of that stuff, along with me myself making the models that I actually want to have the base building represent. So the base building is going to have the same appearance as Just Survive, as individual walls, gates, the little squares or the elongated base shelters that you could put within that as well, staircases, all of that stuff you can expect to have within Let's Live. So with all of those questions being asked, I think there may be one or two on Twitter, and I'm going to look at those just real fast. So Rezel on Twitter also asked for the POIs and their arrangement in the world. That's something that I've posted on the Discord now. So if that's something you guys want to see, make sure you join the Discord or get an invite link to check that out. And then Ninja said he'd like to hear about the base building and rating, if there is any work done yet for that or planned to be made. Talked about base building. Obviously, that's in the process, and that's being made right now and being worked on and coded. In terms of rating is just going to be your standard. You got to get your explosives, and it's got to do enough damage to blow through walls and gates to get to the storage of that person. People will obviously be able to claim property to make it their own, and that's pretty much it. I mean, in terms of mechanics, what you guys should be looking for is a lot of stuff to be made with the same mechanical feel as Just Survive. And the only things that will be different in terms of Let's Live is I will be adding extras, like you will be able to find things within the game that may lead you to treasure, or maybe you collect a certain amount of rare items and you unlock a certain appearance or an emote or something like that. There's going to be quest-like items or rare items that will not spawn easily within the server, that if you find it, depending on if you craft it into something or turn it in or take it somewhere, you will be granted something in return. I want to do a lot of things like that, so that for people that are not completely into PvP, we'll have other things for them to go and do outside of just looting and fighting zombies. So with that being said, this is yet again another long developer message. I was trying to make this a little bit shorter, but you guys do just ask a lot of questions. I do want to try and be as transparent and clear with you guys as possible every single time I make one of these. So with that being said, thanks again for all of the support. I think I covered everything. I do apologize if there was something that I missed or if there was a question that I didn't answer. If there was, ask it down below. I'll make sure to respond in the comment section, or I'll make sure that my fiance sees it and she'll respond in the comment section with whatever question you may have. Moving forward over the next 4 months, I'm excited to see what happens, and I hope you guys are too. Hopefully at the end of this next 4 months, we can start talking about getting dates figured out and seeing where everything is in terms of servers and what store the game may possibly be on. I'm incredibly excited for that because I thought that it was going to be longer down the road, and it seems like that may not be the case. So thanks again, everybody. I really do appreciate all of your support. If you want to help out the game, do your best to go out and tell people about it. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your grandma, tell your friends at school, tell your friends that you don't see at school, tell people you see online. Let everybody know about it. But with that all being said, I think I'm going to wrap this up because I have to go back to developing, but I will see you guys in the next message. Thank you very much, and have a good day.